This week's Artist Spotlight is Richard Stephen Shaw, better known as Bushwick Bill. He was born December 8, 1966 in Kingston, Jamaica. Bill was born with dwarfism. He is listed as 3 feet 8 inches tall. Bill was a founding member of the legendary Houston, Texas rap group, the Ghetto Boys. After graduating from Duluth, Minnesota's Redemption Ministry Bible College, he would go on to Houston, Texas to visit his sister. While there, he would go to a club by himself and start breakdancing and getting attention from connected people of Jay Prince, a record executive amongst other things in Houston. He would start as a hype man and dancer for the Ghetto Boys in 1986 as Little Billy. In 1988, the Ghetto Boys album Making Double came out to little to no attention and poor reviews. Soon after, the president of Rap-A-Lot Records, Jay Prince, goes and gets aspiring rappers Willie D and Scarface. The producer, John Vito, heard Bill reciting Public Enemy's Rebel Without a Pause, and this made him tell Jay Prince, and Jay Prince made him a part of the group. Those 3 members of the group would make up the most well-known version of the group. Group It, On the Other Level, the second album, and first with these members, is released in 1989. This is considered a classic album and one of the earliest horrorcore albums. Bill would say he got his rap name around this time by combining where he grew up in Bushwick, Brooklyn, and the name his mother would call him, Bill. The group's 1990 self-titled album, The Ghetto Boys, caused Deaf American Recordings, the label to which the group was signed at the time, to switch distributors from Geffen Records to Warner Brothers Records because of the controversy over the lyrics. The self-titled album was a majority of the previous Grip It album. June 19, 1991, Bill shoots himself in the eye during a disagreement with his then-girlfriend while under the influence of PCP and Everclear alcohol. Less than 3 hours after they pronounced him dead, Bill would awake in the morgue. According to Bill, he had a toe tagged and was being prepared for autopsy. He says he hopped up and pulled the catheter, urinated in a cup, and sent the officer and hospital tech running. After this incident, the Ghetto Boys would use the image of Bill on a gurney with Willie D and Scarface pushing the gurney as the album cover to We Can't Be Stopped. This album would go platinum by 1992. That same year, Bill would release his solo album, Little Big Man. The very next year, the group would release Till Death Do Us Part without Willie D, who would temporarily leave the group to pursue a solo career. In his place, Big Mike would join the group, and they would get their first hip-hop and R&B #1 album on Billboard. Thank you for listening. We're going to take a short ad break here. Thank you for listening to that ad. Now back to the show. After the group's album, Bill would release Phantom of the Rapper. And after that, Big Mike was dropped from the group and Willie D returned for 1996's critically acclaimed The Resurrection. By 98, Bill would leave the group and release another solo album entitled No Surrender, No Retreat, and 2001's Universal Small Soldier before rejoining the group in 2005 to release The Foundation with the original members. Shortly after, he would release another solo album, Gutta Mix, before becoming a born-again Christian in 2006. In 2010, Bill would release My Testimony of Redemption. Unfortunately, that same year, Bill was arrested for possession and was facing deportation due to his priors. Fortunately, this did not happen. On the flip side of the coin, he publicly stated on May 1st, 2019, he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Sadly, Richard Stephen Shaw passed away on June 9th, 2019, in Colorado. The Ghetto Boys' popularity was boosted somewhat in 1999 by the prominent use of 2 songs. Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangsta, released as a promotional single from the 1992 compilation album Uncut Dope, and Still from The Resurrection, and Mike Judge's comedy satire film Office Space. The song Mind of a Lunatic has been covered by many artists including Marilyn Manson in 2003. It was used as a B-side off of the album The Golden Age of Grotesque. The single, Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangsta, has also been covered by the band Aqueduct and country singer Carter Falco. Their song, Mind Playing Tricks on Me, was featured in the video game Grand Theft Auto 5 and was also in the Netflix series Maniac. The Ghetto Boys were also heavily influenced by the social politics of the day. Their lyrics have consistently included themes ranging from police brutality, such as Crooked Officer, to concerns of the negative impact of violence on the urban community, such as The World is a Ghetto, Ghetto Fantasy, and 6 Feet Deep. MC Search from Third Base recently told a story about himself, Bill, and Bill's brother while the Ghetto Boys and Third Base were on a tour together in the early 90s. They were at a tour stop in Baton Rouge, Louisiana after the show were on their way to a comedy club. They would stop to pick up Bill's baby mother at her mother's house, which apparently, at the time, according to Search, she was the cocaine drug kingpin in New Orleans. The four, Bill, his brother, his baby mother, and MC Search, would go out to the club and have a good time, drinking and freestyling. After the club, Bill and his brother would get into an argument and it would turn physical, with Bill picking up a brick and hitting his brother in the face with it. With Bill's brother bleeding all over the place, the fight would move from the middle of the street to inside the limo, fighting in the back with Bill's baby mother and through the partition where the driver was. Search, away from the limo, gets drove up on by the drug kingpin mother with an AK, saying she was going to kill Bill's brother. And at the same time, the police would drive up on the limo. The mother would drive off and Bill's brother would get arrested. After all this commotion, everyone but Bill and Search would get dropped off while the driver would pull over, roll down the partition, and pull at 45 and say, "You two are either paying me $450 for this new cowboy hat my wife bought me that someone crushed, or I'm putting a bullet in both of you." Search would go on to pay for that hat, but this is just an example of the absolutely wild life Bill lived. The reach and admiration for both the Ghetto Boys and Bushwick Bill, separately and together, have spawned years since their last hit, and it will continue to be felt for decades to come. Long live Bushwick Bill. Thank you for listening to this episode of Hip Hop History. Please like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using, and leave a review if possible. Thank you.